Hello and welcome to Ottawa Business Journal's continuing coverage of the COVID-19 pandemic. My name is Michael Curran, the publisher of the Ottawa Business Journal. In this podcast episode, we take a look at one of the most severely impacted business sectors in this health and economic crisis. One industry association estimates that 800,000 jobs in Canada have been lost in this business sector because of COVID-19. And furthermore, there is increasing concern about whether this business sector can rebound after the pandemic passes. Today, we focused on local restaurants, an industry that contributes greatly to the quality of life in Ottawa and beyond. And as always, we've gathered a stellar group of panelists. I'm so appreciative for them joining me to help us explore this industry. First, we have Mark Lapine, the owner of Atelier Restaurant. Mark and his restaurant have received national acclaim. Welcome, Mark.
Hello, happy to be here.
Next, we have Joël Perranteau, a serial entrepreneur often connected with Ottawa's tech scene, but today we're talking to Joël as the owner of Wolfdown restaurant on Bank Street. Welcome, Joël.
Hey, guys.
Hello. And last but certainly not least, we have Elias Theodosiou, the owner of two restaurants, Evo and Matti, both located on Preston Street in Little Italy, and Elias was also named as an OBJ, Ottawa Board of Trade 40 Under 40 recipient in 2019. Welcome, Elias.
Hello, thanks for having us, Mike.
Thank you. Thanks for joining us. So let's go back to you, Mark. Tell us a little bit about if someone's not familiar with Atelier Restaurant, give us a sense of what your restaurant is and how you've been impacted.
Sure. Yeah, we've been in operation for 11 years. We're on Rochester Street, and we serve 12-course menus every night to everyone. Had a staff of 17, and basically our food, we like to be experimental. We like to use a lot of new technologies. We like to grow a lot of our own food from the garden out back and then acre of farmland not far off. So we're super passionate about everything we do.
It's a really unique concept. I think sometimes people use the word, Mark, micro restaurant. I don't know if you agree with that, but it's a small concept restaurant that, and you really try to create a true experience. I think all restaurants do, but you in particular.
Right. So the restaurant actually is a decent size from what it originally was. Originally, we were 20 seats, and about 4 or 5 years ago, we expanded. We're now about 45 seats.
Okay, that's good. And I'm going to go to you, Joël, next. So give us a sense of what Wolfdown is. It's a really unique concept and somewhat new to Ottawa as well. And how have you been impacted?
Yeah, so Wolfdown is a German street food spot, and now that is something that is pretty new to North America. We focus specifically on the Berlin Doner, which is the #1 street food in Germany, but somehow had never been heard of here. I was introduced to it by my fiance, Daniel, who is German. He's the one to blame for all this. He got me hooked on it, and we kept coming back from Germany and saying, like, this needs to be in Ottawa, like Ottawa needs this. So with himself and Toby from Shopify, who's German as well, with their backing and enthusiasm, we're like, all right, let's open this German street food spot. Now with the COVID crisis and the shutdowns, our initial stance was that we want to hang in there and stay open as long as we possibly could. However, the supply chain started to fail us and kind of forced our hand. First with, we got our bread from the amazing artisan guys. They made the call to shut down, so that kind of trickled down. And then just more recently found out that there's a tofu shortage of the big slabs that we need for the grill. So that was kind of a second punch to the gut. But we're hanging in one day a week at least to keep our super fans fed, and just kind of patiently waiting to be able to get back in the game. Okay.
Elias, let's bring you into the conversation to give us a sense of your restaurants and what the impact has been from COVID-19.
Hey guys, so our first restaurant, Evo Greek Kitchen, which is on Preston Street, we opened that 6 years ago. Matti which is also on Preston Street, a street over, 428 Preston. We opened that a little over 2 years ago now. So Evo is a Greek restaurant, traditional. Just using a lot of my mom's recipes growing up in a Greek household. That's the food I grew up on. Had a passion for it. Been to Greece many years. I thought there wasn't any real Greek restaurant here in Ottawa making a splash, just like there's been in different cities. So that was the whole. That's why we opened Evo, and Mati was just year 3 and 4 of Evo, getting the itch to open another restaurant, and I guess that's the entrepreneur side, and just traveling a little bit and just seeing what's out there, see what else, what other restaurant concepts would work in Ottawa, and just having fun with it, right? Just bringing the whole passion of hospitality, good food, and great experience, right? So, and of course, it's impacted. Both of our dining rooms are both closed. At Evo, we always did Uber Eats. We offered it lunch and dinner at Evo. So the change there is no dining room, but we just continue with Uber Eats. But we're more focusing on our curbside pickup, and we offer a third-party service that we deliver the food as well. So we've introduced that at Mati as well. And we offer sharing menus for 2, for 4, and we're just going day by day, week by week here, and it's an adjustment for sure.
Mark, I want to come back to you. So your decision, as I understand, was to actually close the restaurant. You're aiming for kind of a high-end food experience. Can you walk us through some of the decisions to why you wanted to close as opposed to look to some sort of delivery option or pickup option?
Yeah, we had a conversation, managers at the restaurant, shortly after we were forced to close the dining rooms. And I wanted to get a sense how everyone felt about takeout. I wasn't personally comfortable with it. It would be, if someone was to get sick, for example, that would be, it'd be ultimately my responsibility. But we had a conversation about it. I kind of left it to the staff. None of them really were super into doing it, and we weren't sure, how that would be received with our style. So we have thus far have decided just to leave it.
Okay. And Joelle, going to you, you kind of have an evolving approach. It sounded like, you had to close your dining room like many people, but then you opted to do a pickup or delivery service, but now you've changed because of the supply problem. Talk to us about what's happening and how you're evolving.
All right, so we were always on Uber Eats and all the delivery services from day one. And it's actually been a really great additional business model for us. So we just kind of like, okay, we'll double down on that. So the delivery side of things, we're also doing pickup. You just have to order online and then just grab and go. But we are reduced to just being open 1 day a week because we are missing so many supplies. So we literally have like 20% of our menu that we can still actually make. By no choice of ours, like completely out of our control. So yeah, we're down to Saturdays only, but we're talking to Artisan and Kevin and trying to get the bread back going in a couple weeks. And at that point, we'll kind of try to phase back in. So we just taking it day by day.
Okay. And Elias, you did a really good job at giving us a sense of how you've evolved and the fact that you're using some food delivery services. Maybe some people who aren't that familiar with the restaurant industry might come to the misconception that you still might be doing well, or that you've replaced a lot of your revenue. So speak to us a little bit more in depth about continued pickups for that it's certainly a fraction of what you were typically seeing.
Yeah, so revenue has dropped at least 80% for us for sure. We have 75% of our staff on EI, so we're not even close to doing what we normally do, but we do have our main staff, our chefs, our sous, our managers. They're all still working. We're keeping them busy. And as Mark said, like at the beginning, I closed down the Sunday before the city actually enforced down the close because I just wasn't comfortable with what was happening. I went into quarantine before it all shut down as well on the Saturday, just because I got some health issues myself, so I have to stay away. So I've been at home now for 5 weeks at home, and I did the same thing. I asked the chefs, I asked the managers to make sure that everyone's comfortable going into work. You know what I mean? It was a definitely difficult time, and I wanted to make sure that they were on board with going in. So that was one big decision. So when we knew that they wanted to work, they wanted to stay busy, they wanted to keep going, then that's when we sort of made our delivery menus and stuff like that, or sharing menus. And it's been changing week to week, but yeah, so it's definitely a lot less than what we're used to. But I mean, I'm trying to focus on the positives, Michael. Like it's very important at this time that it's very easy to get down and bogged down and just, I know there's a lot of negatives. It's terrible, but I think the number one thing for everyone is our safety at this point, So I think that's pretty much it.
And Mark, let's come back to you again. You made some careful decisions, as you just explained, and opted to shut down. At what point, if we started to look to the future a little bit, and I appreciate that might be difficult to do, we're dealing with a health crisis here and pandemic, but if you were to think about the future, how might you start reopening the business? Do you have any thoughts on that yet?
Yeah, we've been talking about some of the changes that we'll have to implement at the restaurant. We've actually walked through and, we need to take that table out, we need to take that table out. Just the spacing at the restaurant has to be completely different, I imagine, for people to feel comfortable being in a public space. So, we estimate the potentially operating 70% capacity going forward, at least for a good while. What we don't know is how. I mean, I know that some people are going to be coming back to the restaurant because I'm receiving emails with encouraging from people asking for reservations in June and July and whatnot. But how many people, or what percentage of people are going to be comfortable, in the initial, when we start back up, coming back to restaurants? We'll have to wait and see. That we'll have to make decisions like bringing the staff back incrementally on business levels. There's lots of unknowns.
Okay. And Joel, you wrote, and we picked up a little excerpt on OBJ, a blog post on Medium, shared it on LinkedIn and other social platforms that had a big impact. You were being, I guess, a little pessimistic in a sense of what the future of restaurant industry in general might be. Can you expand a little bit on that blog post and your thoughts about the future?
Yes, actually, but glad I get to explain. So it wasn't a pessimism. I'm actually extremely optimistic for the future.
Okay.
There's more of an outcry of like, this is what the state is right now, and we need to change this. This needs to change. We can't go on like this. And I'm actually, by the response, I'm actually very optimistic that we'll be able to come out of this having learned something and go, okay, we need to move forward in a smarter, better way, and just be more realistic about the economics of this industry. And all I wanted to do with the article is help people understand. And I've been really blown away by the response of people going like, oh my God, like I had no idea. Yes, like we're happy to pay more. We get it now. And so based on that response, I'm actually very optimistic. We're going to make some changes coming out of this to try to actually reset and fix. This industry was broken before this, or just in rough shape. Now this really brought everything to light. So why don't we take this as an opportunity to kind of reset, reboot, and build from the ground up, and build it back stronger and build it back properly. And that's what we plan to do at Wolfdown, is actually come out swinging.
Okay. Well, thanks for digging a little deeper into that and how people have reacted. Elias, I want to come back to you. You've pivoted in a really interesting way. You were telling me earlier today about a food delivery service that you're contemplating. Can you share some more information on that?
Yeah, so we're going to be starting at groceries. I know a lot of people have been starting groceries through their restaurants and all that. So we started building it out about 3 weeks ago now. We're creating a whole brand around it. So that's pretty much, we're going to be selling our meats raw, our cheese, our produce, dairy pantry. People are having a really hard time finding certain things at the grocery store, missing it, waiting in line for an hour and a half, not being able to get the stuff that they were hoping for. And now restaurants have access to all these things right through our great suppliers that still service us. So we're just taking a little bit more time to launch it, and in the hopes of doing a sustainable business, not only during the crisis, but something that we can continue on going into the future, and maybe even finding a location to run a little market, a little Mediterranean market that hosts just, whether it's we start off with some raw stuff and then we go to who knows what it'll turn into be. But right now we're doing that online. We're building it through a Shopify platform, and we're going to be doing the delivery as well with that.
That's great.
Yeah, gets me up in the morning, gets me excited to get up in the morning and start, just doing something. Yeah. Today I was homeschooling my kids, Michael. My wife went in to do the photo shoot today with my partner Amanda into the restaurant, so I was stuck at home and I was schooling the kids all day today. So when I saw the interview was at 4:30, I'm like, that's perfect.
Okay. Well, I'm glad we were accommodating to you. Yeah. Mark, we're going to wrap up here in a minute. We'll go one more circle, but I wanted to ask you specifically, Mark, how are you feeling? Are you optimistic? Are you pessimistic? And also, all of you on the line here today have massive fans. You have these are three, in fact, four beloved restaurants in our city. What can people do to help? And what's your thinking about in terms of the level of optimism, Mark?
Yeah, I'm optimistic by nature, so I can't help but be optimistic about the future. What people can do is they can just come back to the restaurants once we are all reopened. I guess simplest answer.
Okay. And Joelle, any quick thoughts on how people might be able to help Joelle keep the doors open and help Wolfdown have a really strong rebound?
Just keep doing what they're doing. They're sending so much love. Saturdays are amazing. And even Uber started the little donations thing, and we were blown away how many people were using that little button. Everybody's just being incredible. So just not just for Wolfdown, but for all restaurants, like get out there, pay the price you should pay. Don't complain. Don't be cheap. Like these people work their butts off to feed you. So appreciate that and just go out more and enjoy it and enjoy the city, enjoy the food.
Yeah. I think people, it's a good comment, Joelle, because people are obviously pent up and we all love the city, and a big part of loving the city is enjoying restaurants, right? We've had such a remarkable evolution in the city's food scene, of course, over the last 20 to 30 years, and all represented, by the way, here by three of you great people. Elias, I guess you get the last word. What can people do to help Evo, to help Maddie and the restaurant industry in general?
Just continue what they've been doing. Really, like the last 2-3 weeks have been the strong push. The last 2 weeks primarily have been absolutely wonderful. Evo, we're open 6 days, Tuesday to Sunday. Mati, we're open on Wednesday to Sunday. Just a lot more people are calling in and doing curbside pickup, which is that's what we need people to do, the curbside pickup. But we totally understand if people can't leave their homes, just phone us and we'll set up the delivery through a third party versus using a platform like Uber Eats that charges the 30% on top of it, which is not the best time. But I mean, sometimes people want to use that platform, so we don't want to shut that door either, right? We want to open as many doors as possible. Right now, we're starting on DoorDash as well this coming Wednesday at both restaurants. And DoorDash is offering 0% commission for the first 30 days, and then they're going to 15% after that. So we're not sure how popular that platform is, but we're hoping that some of our Uber Eats come over to that side.
Yeah,
but,
a good message there too, right? Deal with restaurants directly if you can.
Yeah, directly.
And,
yeah. Just call them, and it's really nice, especially for us in the restaurants. Like, we're in it because we have a passion for food, but we're also in it because we have a passion for hospitality. Just seeing their faces, hearing their voices. So it's really nice to be able to grab the phone and, I reach out. I have all my customers that I send them the menus every single week. I get their orders. I'm on the phone, either text or phone or whatever it is. I'm talking to them, getting their orders, and try to get exactly what they want, right? And so it's been a different, but it's been a fun little challenge, and I think we should all be optimistic. We'll get through this. Let's focus on being safe, and I think the future. I think when restaurants do open up again, I think it definitely will be at a reduced capacity and whatnot. Maybe there's going to be a lot of things that change for the first little bit, but I think I'm very positive that within time we'll get back to normal and we'll start living our lives like we used to live them.
Well, that's a good thought. Thanks, Elias, for ending on a positive note. I can tell all of you have a degree of optimism despite the massive economic impact that you're all suffering through, and you're all true entrepreneurs. I can tell there's some real entrepreneurial spirit there. So that's it for today. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you to all of our guests. Please stay tuned to obj.ca website and our social media channels for more coverage of COVID-19. Of course, if you're watching on YouTube, give us a like and follow the channel to get notifications on more videos. Thanks everyone for being on the show today. Good luck both in this and well into the future.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.